Good morning, grateful. Hope you all fine. Let's talk about concept 2, starting with potential and kinetic energy. Oh, I remember that toy. Always wonder how it works. All I remember is that I twist the key and leave it on the ground. Then this toy starts to move. But actually, what I didn't know before is that when I twist this key, this toy stores energy inside it. And when I just leave it, it moves because of this energy inside it. The meaning is, I apply the force on this key, give this toy energy, but it's stored inside it. And as soon as I leave it, or stop applying force on this toy, it releases this energy in a form of movement. Can you imagine this? You know what? This is called potential and kinetic energy. So, this is stored energy inside the body of this toy. We call it as a potential energy. Stored energy inside this body of the toy, we call it as a potential energy. And the movement, we call it as a kinetic energy. So, I can define potential energy as it's the energy stored in an object during rest. It's the energy stored in an object during rest. And the kinetic energy is the energy that causes the motion of object. So always kinetic related to motion. Okay? So again, I have something called potential and kinetic energy. Potential energy is the energy stored inside an object during rest. And the kinetic energy, it's the energy that causes the motion of objects. So look carefully to this arrow. Yes, actually it's the same idea. This part which this man hold it back store energy, and just when it leave it, transform it to motion, which we call it as a kinetic energy. And this one too is the same example or the same idea of potential and kinetic energy. Actually, this girl pull this kind of rubber, and this is causing store energy inside this toy. Okay, we call it as a potential energy. When this girl just leave it, it will transform to motion, and this motion I call it as a kinetic energy. Potential energy that is stored inside objects, when these objects started to move, they get kinetic energy. So potential energy only transform or change it to kinetic energy. You know what? Roller coaster also an example for potential and kinetic energy. So how does this happen? That's because if you look carefully here, when this roller coaster moves upward against the gravity, it stored energy inside it because it's a kind of force applied on it. Then what? This roller coaster changing this to kinetic energy, which is the motion. So at the beginning of the roller coaster, there are electric motors that work by electricity. These motors are used to carry the trains, cars up. Maybe top of a hill, for example. When the roller coaster reaches the highest point of this hill, the cars of the trains store some kind of energy during this racing. Okay, so at the top, at the hill of this roller coaster, the cars only store kind of energy. So stored energy, I mean its potential energy. And as the roller coaster moves down the hill, the energy stored in the train changes into more active form of kinetic energy that help it move downward. And when the roller coaster moves downward, its kinetic energy increases as the speed increases. Okay, we said before kinetic energy is like motion. So the stored energy that happens at the hill or the top of this roller coaster is transformed or released in the shape of motion. This motion we call it as a kinetic energy, and by increasing the kinetic energy, causing the speed to increase. And you have fun. From that, we can understand this potential energy can form or transform into another kind of energy. So we can see now forms or different kind of forms of energy. Number one, mechanical energy. Actually, mechanical energy, it's like, we can say it's like kinetic energy because it's about motion. If we have potential energy transform into kinetic energy, we can call all of this process as a mechanical energy. I can found this in fans, for example, or clocks, battery. Actually, batteries have kind of energy stored inside them called chemical energy. Chemical energy. And yes, chemical is about materials or substance or chemical substance react together. Is that only in batteries? No, we can find it in food, in batteries, and also in fuel of the car. Thermal energy. Thermal energy means talking about heat, the feeling of heat, okay? So it's a kind of energy like matches and electric heaters. Light energy. It's also a kind of energy, and we can find it in electric lamps, we can find it in flashlights, we can find in computer screens, and also electric lamps. They have, can be considered as light energy and thermal energy because if you want to touch it, you can feel some kind of warm or some kind of raising temperature, heat, and this is called the thermal energy. So light energy I can find in sun, I can find in candles, fire, electric lamps, flashlights, computer screens, and so on. Electric energy, yes, it's about electricity. We can find it in televisions, we can find it in computers, we can find it in many projects we can use like electric mixer, sound energy. Sound energy I can find in musical instrument, I can find in an alarm bell, and so on. Even in our talks, it's a kind of energy. So we have different kinds of energy. We have light energy, we have electric energy, we have thermal energy, and also we have chemical energy, mechanical energy, and potential kinetic energy, and many types of energy. So this is our lesson for today. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.